YouTube, how we doing? Pass the Prop is back here. We got NBA and some college basketball stuff for today. One play a piece coming at you guys. College basketball obviously taking over my life a little bit here. So luckily Stu could help me out and bring me back into some NBA here because, yeah, dude, it's been a couple days. So how we been, man? I know we haven't been I don't think we linked up since Friday now.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, obviously, but I'm happy to be here. It's one of my favorite times of the year because you get to carry the load in college basketball. Like, I don't have to do anything, and I get to make money, which is really fun. And as you guys know on Twitter, very rare, very hard to come by, right? It's very hard to find someone dependable. So the fact that I don't have to do any research, I don't have to do anything, I can sit back and let you, because I know you're in the weeds every day. It's great. We got a little specialization of labor going on in Pass the Prop, right? I'm taking care of the NBA right now. You're holding down college basketball. So excited to be here. Excited. I know it's been a week, but we're back and ready to go with a okay slate in the NBA. I know it's probably a little bit better in college hoops, but we got some good plays today.
Yeah, dude, I'm hoping most of the players that were playing 4 days ago are still playing in the NBA, so I can at least throw something in there. But yeah, let's take a look at this slate. We'll start out with NBA. Obviously, it's going to be a little tough for me to run through the board of college basketball because there's so many conferences going in their conference tournaments right now. So that should be fun to talk about those. But if you guys have any questions, college basketball or NBA related, drop them in the comments. We'll try to get to all those just because I know it's going to be, a little bit all over the place on today's slate. So just if you got anything, drop them in there, and we'll try our best to get to everything here. So I guess, Stu, what game is sticking out to you on this slate? Looking like we got 6, 7 games, 7.5 or bigger spread in every game but one. Jesus Christ! All right, good luck, buddy. Let's hear it.
Well, it's the obvious one too. It's the Hawks and the Jazz. That's gonna be clearly the most fun game of the night. And we talk about the big screen game all the time here. Like, these are two obviously top pace teams, bottom defense teams, injuries galore on both sides. Speaking of same NBA players playing 4 days ago, go check the Hawks lineup. You'll see some mysteries entering the starting lineup. So obviously Bay out for the season as well. It's kind of crazy over there. That just seems like the ultimate DFS props kind of game. It's just going to be badness, pace, not a lot of defense, perfect for betting. Definitely going to be my favorite spot of the day for sure.
Yeah, and obviously you can look at some of these games like, damn, dude, Spurs, 11-point dogs. Pelicans at home are 8-point favorites over the Clippers. I'm assuming off a back-to-back, knowing somebody's going to sit. That would be my guess for the Clippers if they're that big of dogs in New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans is all right, but I don't expect them to be against a fully healthy Clippers. I know I saw Harden was sitting as well, but I mean, if I look at these boards, I kind of want to look at the Pistons. I kind of want to bet the Pistons, dude. Give me 8.5 points. Give me 8.5 points for a team that wants to put good tape out there, right? You got a lot of young dudes just trying to put out good numbers. Obviously, I'm sure everybody saw the Jalen Duren lines that he was putting up, just crazy numbers. Even with me not looking at any NBA, I did see that. So I'm obviously a pretty big Duren fan. Bet on him probably more than I should, and saw he had a huge game there. So I'm interested to see how he matches up with Bam. And obviously they're coming off the game with Jokic that they just played. So this will be a little bit of a step down for the Heat, and maybe a spot where we can catch them sleeping a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a bad look at all. I mean, you obviously mentioned Durant playing really well. Cade, awesome since the All-Star break, right? He's come back with a vengeance, been playing very well recently. The only concern is that the Heat, 1, are very good against opposing ball handlers, and 2, are very good in the paint. So that's Cade, that's Durant. You look at the rest of the team, that's when it gets a little bit more scary, right? You're trusting some of these secondary guys. And I mean, I don't know if you've been watching or even the people at home been paying attention. These bench lineups that they're throwing out at times are insane. And this is the time of year where you do start getting guys where you've never heard of, where they signed a guy on a 10-day, 1 day ago, and he plays instantly. So those kind of annoying rotations, can always get a little bit weird with a team like that. But I definitely agree. The Pistons, they're a little hungry right now, but it is a tough one. I don't think they're going to win outright, but definitely covering is very live.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be a fun slate because there's really not many, close matchups, right? I mean, these ones are like, I mean, where do you go? I mean, Charlotte playing anybody, but now you're going to play against 3 all-stars, right? Like, you know what I mean, like Toronto. I mean, they're playing dudes that shouldn't be playing probably G League basketball now. So it's like, it's a tough place to go. And obviously betting on some of these spots are just gross. But we got 25 live viewers in here already. We're ready to go. I see Stu talking about that game that he wants to watch here. I will kick it over to you to do our first play here.
Sounds good. We're starting out over in the NBA. We're going Keontae George over 28.5 PRA minus 120 over on Bet365, minus 125 on Caesars. And if you have Bet Rivers, it's minus 118 over there. And actually on Rivers, you can get 30 plus at plus 110, which no other book has. So just a little bonus right there. I honestly think the number should probably be 30.5. So I'm pretty comfortable playing at 29.5 as well. So getting that at plus money to me is definitely a nice little bonus for all the people that are not severely limited on Bet Rivers, so which is something that unfortunately happens over there. But I love this spot. This is a matchup, right? Obviously, no Laurie has kind of been the elephant in the room for a while, but now no Clarkson, no Dunn. There is absolutely no depth at all at the guard position. And this is a team that's rotating a lot of young guys. When you look at their lineup, even last game where they were completely depleted, George is playing extreme minutes, right? We're talking about like the 38-minute mark, and that's with Clarkson in the lineup, right? Look at the rest of the guys. Bryce Sensabaugh started, only was in that 20-minute range. They were rotating the rest of these guys very heavily, but the one consistent thing throughout the whole thing was the guards. And when you frankly look at it, I like Colin Sexton as much as the next guy. I constantly want to bet on Colin Sexton. Anyone that's bet on Colin Sexton knows that he randomly plays like 24 or 27 minutes in half of these games. Like the rotations are so brutal. And obviously he's been more consistent recently. He's at that 31, 32. But then my guy Keontae George over here is at the 38, 39. And what I like most is over time, blowouts have really been the big thing, right? Of if one of this game goes off the rails, right? I see George obviously being the younger guy, having the much longer leash, and that's kind of been shown all season long. The good thing about a game where there's no defense on either side, though, is the chance for blowout is much reduced because neither team, even if you're down 15, 18 points kind of early, you're not ever really going to feel out of it, right? Neither of these two teams are very intimidated in their current states. The field goal volume is obviously through the roof, and that's really what we're looking for. Anytime I can get a guy who, once again, is likely going to play, easily going to play 30 minutes, likely going to play 35 plus minutes, right? Anytime I can get a guy that's going to do that and then take 20 field goal attempts, I'm going to take that. Like, I truly think he could get here on points alone, right? He's had some spike games before that have been very impressive for a young guy. And you kind of mentioned it with the Pistons. At the end of the day, they're playing for nothing right now. Like, look at these lineups. It's like almost all rookies. I see Taylor Hendricks is questionable. To me, that's a guy, most of his usage is coming off like catch and shoot stuff. It could be a little assist kind of bump right here, but that's not a major offensive player. He's very limited. He's not self-creating or anything like that. Much more impressive early on the defensive side. So for me, no depth in this matchup. It's going to be a great team. We're seeing back-to-back 38 and 35-minute games. Now, take Clarkson out of the equation. I've been talking about points, but he's had some 6, 5 assist games. The rebounds are nothing special. But once again, if I'm going to bet on the minutes, if I'm going to bet on the opportunity, the lack of depth, and I think the field goal volume is going to be so good, then I'll take a chance on getting some rebound upside, some assist upside, because I think the value is good in those other markets. So definitely love betting on George today. I know some people are on Sexton as well. I can't fault you. There's no guard depth on this team. Those guys are going to have to go at it. But I like the leash that George has. I like the volume, the opportunity. And that was the deciding factor to me, especially at this nice price they got over on Bet365 and Bet Rivers.
Yeah, no hate for me. Obviously, I'm I'm on that Sexton bandwagon. I'm not betting on him today, but on my best ball. So, I'm still rolling with him on those. So, like I said, I don't have any bets in the NBA today, but I do know exactly what you're talking about when I have bet on Sexton, where he'll have a 32-minute game and then the next game 24. And I'm like, why are you only playing 24? You missed 3 shots. Why are you sitting? And now, obviously, you have a guy there that they're, I guess, a lot more comfortable with rolling heavy minutes for. Maybe they just – because, Sexton is a great defender as well, so maybe you see him going hard for 26 minutes and you're good, and obviously Keontae George got to carry a little bit more of the point guard burden versus I don't know if I can call Colin Sexton a point guard because I see him more shooting the ball than he is passing the ball. So I like the spot, obviously. Like the upside with the assists as well to get the PRA there. So
yep.
I like it. I'll be tailing. And again, I'm not looking at any NBA. So it's nice to have a bet in the NBA and not even have to look at it. So I feel your sentiment on that as well, because I am not digging into this slate at all.
No, it's sick. It's sick. I know you've been doing more props recently. It's that time of year where more spots have them, right? It's like the March Madness. They're pushing it a lot more, and those have been awesome as well. So I don't know if you've got any long shots or anything you can tease later, but I need a prop in the college basketball world at some point.
Yeah, I will. I did have a couple props yesterday. They were on my boy Baylor Shireman. Points, rebounds, assists. I'm sure you saw it. I know you're in my group chat there. I had him and I had dude. If Dayton doesn't make the tournament, man, I'm gonna be tipping my cap to Deron Holmes for just being an absolute fucking monster, man. That dude is so goddamn good. I can't even get you just see how hype I got just talking about the guy. He is that good, bro. I bet on his points, rebounds, assists, didn't do anything for the first 10 minutes and still ended up with 45. So it's they just don't know how to price these yet. And you're not going to see anybody in the mid 30s, right? You're going to see the low 30s. And shout out to Shireman for winning by the hook for me. And then obviously we had him just go crazy here. I do like a couple guys for long shots, so I'll talk about that in a second. But I will go into some college basketball. This is a 4:30 start game. I already did post my YouTube play of the day being on another first half over. I do have quite a few unders today, but I picked my 2 overs for my free plays here. So I know we're going to talk about UConn St. John's here in a second, but I know a lot of people are going to talk about the MSG history. It comes up so much, and I feel like it's put into the market already, right? I feel like it's already baked in, where MSG is a place where you get a lot of unders, right? And it's just because it's a bigger place. And obviously the shooting background's different. It's just a little bit different for these guys. But, I mean, we're going to be right in St. John's backyard, bro. We're going to be right there. So I think that really helps here as well, first off. Second, St. John's has – I mean, I know they haven't played the best teams in the Big East here in these last couple games. But they're playing like their season's on the line because it is. This team has played so much better over these last couple games. Let's just take a look. They're on a 5-game heater right now, or 6, actually. Georgetown, Creighton, Butler. DePaul does not count. I will not count that game. They are atrocious. Georgetown, and then they just beat Seton Hall. They 20-balled Seton Hall here yesterday, right? UConn has not had to play yet, but that's another thing. People talk about how you're going to come out slow. UConn can score on anybody, dude. They can literally score on anybody at any point in the game. Threes, inside. They got Klingon. I mean, this is a very complete team. I don't think they're going to have issues scoring here, right? You saw a couple of these matchups already this year with St. John's, and one of them went over, one of them went under. But what I was really surprised to see was Vegas opening this line right at the same market spot, right, 146 as their last game, and sitting around 147 and 147 and a half. So I'm seeing it where the market's taking it. I wish I would have got the 146 and a half. But I'm going to take this first half number because I'm trusting the St. John's team's shooting is going to continue. This team, they play here a lot, right? They play in MSG a lot. So seeing them shoot 42% from 3 over their last 3 games is huge, right? And you want these teams that get hot at this time. That is the teams you want to back. They shot 34% on the season from 3. They're hot right now. This is the team you don't want to get in front of. And now, yes, I understand you're taking on UConn. Good defense. Very, very good team across the board. Number 2 in the country. But we've seen some of these dudes take huge step forward. And one of them I want to talk about is Denise Jenkins, right? Or I think it's Dennis, but they spell it. I don't know. How would you say this? Daniss. I assume that's Dennis. I'm going to guess Dennis.
Yeah, I go Dennis.
Yeah, that's what I would guess. But I'll just get away from that first. Let's talk about these games that we were just talking about where these guys have been hot, right, over this 6-game winning streak. 15-27. He had an 8-point game against Butler where he didn't even really have to do anything because they won by 30. An 11-pointer against DePaul where he played 13 minutes because they 30-balled him. and 23 against Georgetown and 11 yesterday in 22 minutes because he got in foul trouble. Right, this guy's been significantly better. He's got 5 20-point games this year. I like having the seniors in this game. I think UConn's going to score. I don't think they're going to have any issue. My issue is always going to be on that St. John side. Can you score against this defense? And I think they can right now. And we've seen Soriano have a double-double in their first matchup. I think this pace will actually move a little bit quicker than people expect. And I'm not getting in front of a team that's hot like St. John's here. That's why I kind of like them with the points as well. They're giving me 9. I'm not going to lay the point. I'm going to take them that they're going to be able to score early and often in this game. We've seen a lot of these underdogs stay pretty close as well in this Big East tournament, at least in the first half, right? Even last game, right? UConn was down at half, I think, right? They were down, I think. No, they're up 1. And then they outscored Xavier by 26 in the second half. They won by 27 points. But the first half, 1-point game. So we got experience on the court. We're ready to roll. I think both teams are going to shoot well in this game. And this is a game that you get up for, right? This is a game that, I mean, St. John's is pretty much in win or go home mode. And you can see that by 6 straight wins. So going to roll with the hot team, trying to mess around, score a little bit on UConn Huskies here in MSG. So sign me up. I'm going to take the first half over. Long-winded way of saying, let's get the damn points. Let's go.
Let's go. I like it. No, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I like the momentum, obviously, this time of year. One thing, too, I wanted to say, anytime, I think this works for any sport, just general gambling advice. Anytime that someone will send like a trend that's been posted on like the ESPN page for 1 million people to see and sends it in your buddy's group chat, that trend has probably been baked into the market now. You know what I mean? So like anytime, it really doesn't matter what sport you're talking about, like those widely known things. Oh, you bet under in this situation. Like they've heard that too. You know what I mean? They're in on that as well. And they set their lines accordingly. So definitely like to take advantage. Final thing. What do you mean DePaul doesn't count? Didn't they almost beat Villanova the other day? That was like the one game I've watched, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. Legends.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I don't think that I would put in tape of making you sit on your couch and watch 3 DePaul games. I don't think that you would be able to sit through at least one.
I watched
that fucking bad. They're awful. They're terrible. But you got to think those are your last games. No, you're going to play hard. Watch. I implore you to go and watch some of the midseason games with DePaul.
Okay.
They are absolutely atrocious basketball team and probably don't even deserve to be in Division I after this year. It was that bad. So, and Nova almost wins last night too, which is funny. So
that was the ultimate entertainment because a very popular gambler on Twitter had Nova -4, like whatever it was. Like they had him on the money line. You know, it was an insane price. And he's the same guy, Steve Fezzik, that had Purdue last year in the tournament when they lost as well on the money line. And he's claiming it as a good bet, blah, blah, blah. So all of Twitter was ready for this guy to go down again. And he just held on at the very end. But it was very good content. Just to see a guy tout, like publicly be like, you need to tail my pick at a -4,000 money line. You know, that's insane. So it was good entertainment for me. I tuned in the last 5 minutes. I was rooting for them real bad. They obviously kind of suck and they lost, but it was good entertainment for the night.
Yeah, Nova is not a good team either, man. So I hate watching them play, dude. They're just like watching paint dry, dude. Like, their totals should be like Virginia totals, to be honest, bro. Because they just so bad. I just hate watching them. So, all right, Stu, we got both our plays out. Let's go through our quick recap here, and we'll end up going into some long shots if you got some. I will be picking around here right now and getting some spots.
Sounds good. I do, and we can answer that question as well right after. I got Keontae George over 28.5 PRA, -120 on 365. Caesars is the next best price. And like I said, Bet Rivers has a slightly better price. I would also take the 30 at plus money over there as well. Only spot in the market that has it right now.
Yes, sir. And I'll be on UConn St. John's first half over 68.5. I'd probably take it to 69.5. I don't think I'd go any higher than 70. I think 38, 34 first half. That's my guess. That's what I'm going to play. If that hits, man, and I hit 38 to 34 in that first half, I'm going to freak the hell out. because I should get paid more than the -110 I'm laying on this shit if I freaking pick the exact score. So, Stu, what do you got? What is the long shot for you today?
We can clip that for sure when you get it on the books right there. I'm excited. So I parlayed two guys together that I think are going to have very good nights tonight. I took Emmanuel quickly for 30 points, have a 30 bomb. Then I parlayed it with Keontae George, who I already talked about a little bit earlier. I took him 25. We'll do that for the show. That is 1350. But I also took 30 plus if you want to get a little crazy and combine them together. IQ is obviously the lower odds ones. His regular points is sitting at 22.5. Dog, look at that roster right now. His shot competition is going to be Kelly Olynyk, who's like the most friendly center in the world. Like the guy is the least aggressive player I've ever seen. He's getting like 5 assists per game, running point forward down there. I mean, the offensive competition is insane. Gary Trent Jr. is the second highest player at 16.5 points. The guy doesn't create his own shots. He's a spot-up shooter. I hate Gary Trent Jr. I hate this guy. Betting on him is the fucking worst because he'll be at 16.5 points, and you'll look and go, there's no one on this team. Everyone is out right now. It's tough. He's obviously going to be more involved. And he plants himself in the same fucking corner he sits in every game. So to me, I think IQ is an extremely obvious pick as he's the only high usage player on this team. I mean, Bruce Brown, he's at 12.5 points, right? It's Brown, Olynyk. It's no offense and it's no depth, right? And then the other thing they got going as well is obviously you never, want to bring the narrative too much, but I mean, there's some like personal tragedy stuff with RJ's brother, passing away. I know that's obviously the kind of thing that it can bring a locker room together. I know RJ's not playing tonight, but this is now their first game back at home since that happened. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. So that's obviously something that, can rally the guys and kind of, it's a human element right there as well. So for me, I love IQ ladder today. I mean, once again, who's going to score on this team? Even if it's like not a close game, even in the fourth quarter gets out of hand, like the opportunity is just going to be there. Had to take it. And then like I talked about with Keontae George, I see a lot of upside in this game. To me, I think George and I think DeJounte Murray ladders are both very, very tempting. This is probably all I'm going to have on tonight's slate. And you guys know me. We'll get some role players later, so I won't go too crazy. We'll get a couple role players in there. But it's going to be IQ, it's going to be George, and it's going to be Murray. And I never do that, right? But I think it's very fitting tonight, given all the injuries and the usage, that I think the guys that have the ball in their hand and create their own shot, surprise, those are going to be the guys that score. And those are going to be the guys that get the job done, especially when you amplify more role players around them who, once again, I love betting on, but those guys don't have the full package, right? So love both these guys to score tonight. Definitely playing the ladders.
Beautiful. And I'm going to go to some SEC action. The two guys that I've been pretty much just rolling with as wagons. And that's going to be Mark Sears. And that's going to be Mr. Antonio Reeves. I'm going to roll with both of them. I'm going to go again. And I don't care who knows it, man. And I'm going to go with 25 tonight. I'm going to go Sears 25, Reeves 25. And that's going to be paying out a lot better than I expected. Plus 640 on those two to get there. These are two guys that obviously, if you've been watching the show, these have been part of my long shot guys for a while. Mark Sears, senior, Antonio Reeves, senior. Both these guys score great away from home. And we're in a neutral site. And these are win and go home games, right? These are win or go home. You want to obviously take down the thing. And we're going to be probably seeing Sears play 40. And we're going to probably see Reeves play 38 minutes tonight, right? And I don't think that either one of these teams will be able to slow them down. You look at Sears' matchup against Florida. Don't get me wrong. I just bet on Florida last night. And guess what? I loved it. I loved every second of it because those guys are awesome. But Sears played these guys on the 5th and dropped 33 on their head, dude. There's going to be so many fouls in this game. Mark Sears being able to drive into the paint, I think is going to be. I think we're going to see him live at the free throw line tonight again. Then you go over to Reeves, dude. I just love this guy. I think I've bet him like 3 straight games. I really have, and I love every second because this guy, 3-point ball, phenomenal free throw shooter, gets to the line a ton. But again, we talked about it when I bet on Sears. The dude is old, man. He's old for these. Like, you don't get these seniors at Kentucky, right? He's a transfer. He's been in these types of games. And when we watch these guys play, you can tell who's the alpha on this team, right? Dillingham's going to get higher recognition, in the NBA looks and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, who's getting the ball in these clutch moments? It's Reeves, right? He's averaging 22 points per game in his games against Texas A&M this year. He's dropped 20 plus since we've really needed them to win, right? And that's 7 straight games. He's dropped 20 plus points. I bet on him. I think it's 6 of them. So I'm going to go to Reeves. I feel like 25 is not really that crazy. I think his points line's at 20.5. I'll be betting that straight. So I'm going to roll with Reeves. I'm going to go roll with I'm sorry. I just got to I'm going to tell you in a second what I just got from a text here. But Sears and Reeves 25 plus 640. All right. I got to tell you why I'm laughing so hard right now. And I don't have the Purdue game up right now, but I absolutely hate Purdue because it's pretty much all Edey and then just all these shit guys on the outside.
Sure. Yeah.
And I get a text. 2 people send me the same text. So I want to know what happened in this game. My dad sends me a text and one of my buddies. And they both within 10 minutes, because I just looked at my phone right now, both within 10 minutes said something about Fletcher Lawyer being a bitch. And within a 10-minute, and I'm looking at him like, oh my God, within 10 minutes, because I just popped it up and I'm like, oh, I got 2 texts. Why am I blowing up right now? And it just, something must have happened in Purdue, and I really wish I had it on because I want to know what happened. Because if both people sending me that Fletcher Lawyer's a bitch, something must have happened.
Yeah.
I don't like him either, but something must have happened to get 2 texts out of it. So I'm gonna have to go look back at that game in there. But I'll kick it over to you, Stu, for Colin's question. I believe that would be the Heat Detroit game we were talking about a little earlier.
That is a great question. I do need to ask you though, given what you just said. So are we fading Purdue obviously then in March, right? We're not in our brackets or whatever. Are we fading them? Is it too early to say?
The thing is it's all matchup based, man. It really is, because Purdue, I mean, you can see what they do against Big Ten teams, right? They can just demolish them because they all kind of play the same way. Right, we have, you play through the post. You got guys who can shoot on the outside, but like Kentucky, I think Kentucky can wipe them. I think they would just run, and then we'll play that 7-footer who shoots threes. What the hell are you gonna do, Edey? You know what I mean? Like I just don't. If they match up with a fast-paced team, I don't know how they're gonna do. I really don't.
It's just a casual fan. Maybe this is gonna be a popular take, but I watched them lose to a bunch of 6'4" guys last year. And this dude, he's like towering over them like they're kids. And even though he was doing pretty well, like just the fact that they lose that game to me is like, there's no way I can take this team again this year. But I don't know. Hopefully that's not super, super popular because you never want to be with the chalk. But as for this question, right, this is a great question. You kind of nailed it. Their 2 best outside guard defenders who can even travel to the rim are both out right here. So it's going to be, as Shaquille O'Neal says, barbecue chicken. The real question is obviously Jimmy Butler. Yes, it's try-hard mode, but man, playing this guy against bad teams has been such a recipe for disaster over these last couple of years. And maybe if you sync it up, and maybe, I don't know if these people that have the trend stuff can do the, like, over the last 2 years in the second half of the season only, maybe in games where they're over an 8-point favorite, how well Jimmy Butler does. It can't be that great over the full season. Maybe in the second half, he does continue to turn up, but like that's just been an ongoing observation is it's so tough for me to bet him against bad teams. But you did mention, obviously, they need a win at the end of the day. It's playoff season. You can't really take any team for granted. It's just how close can the Pistons keep this game to get Jimmy Butler over the mark? Because as we know, he's aggressive. He can get to the rim. But this team sucks, right? And they have guys around him that can score as well. And he's not very aggressive. Like he'll hit Duncan Robinson for those threes. He's not a ball dog. He's not DeMar DeRozan. He'll pass. So it's interesting. Obviously, the number one thing I want to mention for the over is fouls. Jimmy Butler is great to give into the line. We're not calling as many fouls in the NBA right now. I know that's been a widespread talking point, but this Pistons team fucking fouls. They foul like crazy. I mean, they got Wiseman. As a backup center playing legit minutes. Like that guy is one of the worst. Like people go right at him. and all he can do is foul. So for me, obviously there's a lot of reasons to like Jimmy Butler, maybe even like a live kind of bet. Like if you see the Pistons are holding on strong, it's going to be a closer game than maybe for me. It's a little, I have PTSD. I bet on him against bad teams with no rim protection too many times. And then he scores 8 points with like 14 assists and 8 rebounds, and they win by 25. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely do like Jimmy buckets. Just normally prefer a little bit more competitive matchups.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too, is like you brought it up. I don't know if it was you who brought it up or who brought it up. The thoughts with Jokic against bad teams too, like where he just goes for rebounds, assists, and doesn't really mess around too much with, the scoring aspect of it. So just something I thought I'd bring up to there too, because you just don't know what he's going to do in these games. So that is it. Good. 30 minutes right on the dot, baby. We're ready to roll. Dude, I love this flavor. I'm going to start back. Be ready in that chat. I'm about to send out some props now, dude. I'm locked in, ready for some props, dude. There's some fantastic night games. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So anything from you, Stu, before we head out here?
No, I love today's card. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to be super aggressive today. I got a couple spots that I like. We're obviously rolling with them. And yeah, I mentioned earlier, I like tailing this college basketball props. These guys you bet today are like the reason why. I mean, like you said, on the road or on these neutral site with experience, the veterans, I've been cashing with you. So excited to keep that going today, firing up the Prize Picks accounts. They're not ready for what hit them. So I'm ready to go. Love today's slate. Be back Monday. We, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Should have some good guests next week as well. Little hint right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting next week. I don't know. I probably won't, again, not be looking at. I'll be doing my YouTube play of the day. I'll be doing my bracket breakdown stuff. I'll be doing all that. A lot of shit for college basketball next week. So obviously brackets come out. Should be fun. I'm excited to get into the madness here and start cashing some more tickets. So YouTube play of the day is up. We got to play out already. So hopefully you guys are over there taking a look. Hit that sub button, guys. We're getting close to 2,000 over here. Let's get that going. We'll see you Monday and hopefully win some bets with you tonight. So thank you guys. Have a good one, and we'll see you on Monday.